And good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Realty Pros. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to turn it over to Miss Porter.
Good afternoon, Anita. Thank you so much for the introduction, and good afternoon to everybody who's able to join us today. I see we have quite a number of you on the line. I see Dee, I see Angela, Kermond, D'Amica, Mr. Porter, Anita. I'm seeing people that are trying to join us also. So I just want to say welcome. And we're excited today to continue our conversation around maximizing open houses. Angela started us off week one. If you guys haven't had a chance, go back and look at that video. It's on your Porterhouse YouTube channel with regards to maximizing open houses. Last week, we were able to delve even deeper into maximizing your open house. And today we're going to conclude this series on maximizing your open house. So last week, I'll actually just kind of go through some of the marketing that we talked about for maximizing your open houses last week, because we have two opportunities that we want to make sure that everybody's fully aware of and what that looks like when you fully exhausted, at least the basic marketing principles for your open houses. So I'll go ahead and share my screen with you guys so that we can touch on some of the marketing opportunities that we shared last week regarding maximizing the open house. And you guys can let me know if you see my screen.
Yes.
Excellent. Before I start putting all of these up there, if there's anybody that was here with us last week, if you guys recall some of the marketing strategies and opportunities that we talked about to allow you to maximize exposure for your open house, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, drop it in the chat, jump right in and let me know what those things are that you recall from the last couple of weeks. And if you're shy, I want to continue. Go ahead.
So I remember door knocking a day before, maybe even sometimes the day of, and doing flyers.
Excellent.
And Ms. Porter, I was able to go back because I wasn't able to be in the meeting, but I was able to go back and watch the video. And this is something that we used also, and it was so well received, was the invitations, inviting the neighbors to join you at your open house. That was very much, they really felt as if though they were special or part of an exclusive, group of people to be able to be invited by way of invitation to the open house. So I thought that was great as well.
I love to hear you talking about that, because that's a powerful attribute that we don't exploit enough. There are endless opportunities in that benefit the neighbors, that benefit the homeowner, and that benefit you guys tremendously as agents. Tell us a little bit about what your process was, because I want the agents who are on the line who haven't had a chance to take advantage of this opportunity to hear what you mean by that and what you did from beginning to end. We hear how receptive the neighbors were, but just talk about it in a little bit more detail.
So we, because like I mentioned, we had an open house this last weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And so what we did was on Friday, we went out, we got specifically some invitations, and you can get invitations from the dollar store or whatever, but we got invitations. And they were actually personally handwritten. So it wasn't like, something that was pre-printed. It was handwritten, and it wasn't, any long drawn out, something that we put in the invitations, but just, come and join us for our open. You are invited to our open house or, exclusive open house. And we put a copy of the flyer inside of the invitation as well. And so what we did was, once we got all those together, we went out and we went door knocking, and then obviously everyone did not open up their door. However, we did get quite a few people that did open up their door, and we were able to just, hand them the invitation, and saying that we are, just inviting the neighbor, that we have an open house that's going to be this weekend. We wanted to personally invite you all to come out and join us. And they were very, very receptive of that. Now, once they came, and when they came, they made sure to tell us, because we say, oh, well, how did you hear about the open house? Because at that point, you don't know the neighborhood. So you don't know that this person is necessarily a neighbor. And so we'd say, well, how did you hear about the open house? And they'd be like, oh, well, I received an invitation, or, a few people brought their invitation with them, And so although in that moment, at the time, maybe when we passed out the invitations, or even at the time that they came in came to join us at the open house, they may not necessarily be considering selling their home, but they know that the experience was something unique for them, and so they still will remember us. And then also, because they joined us at the open house, then we were able to capture their information so that we can also be in contact with them at a later time. We can put them on our campaigns and in our boomtown and all of that. So it was very helpful, so that even now they may think, oh, I'm not ready. They'll remember us.
Excellent. I can't say it enough, Anita. That is the experience that we want for neighbors to have with an open house. Because remember, last week we talked about removing the stigma of the nosy neighbor, or the nosy Nelly, if you will, and people coming into the open house feeling like, oh, I've got to sneak because I'm really not a buyer, but I really want to check it out. So just really embracing that and maximizing that opportunity, you should get exactly the same type of reception that Anita had. It's very, very powerful. We know that when you receive a personal invitation, it makes you feel special. It makes you feel thought about, like somebody is personally considering you. In addition to all the other marketing avenues that we've talked about and we'll reiterate today, just to make sure that everybody is up to speed on that, this one adds a more personal touch. And just like Anita said, they're going to remember her because that's something different that I don't know anybody else that does, the personal invitation aspect with this exclusive, hour for the neighbors. So kudos to you guys, Anita. That is exactly what we're looking for. Grab hold of it, immediately implement it, and then see the results from it right offhand. So kudos to you. And then for you also, Kermon, I heard what you were talking about before we began the recording. So kudos to you on receiving your multiple offers on your listing. Kudos to you guys. If you're not ratified, then I'm sure you will be ratified very soon. So great job to you guys for grabbing hold of what we're teaching here on Porterhouse Realty Talk. So we will go through some of these other marketing aspects, because one of the things I want you guys to be aware of is when we talk about a Porterhouse open house, especially for myhouseporter.com, this is the marketing strategy that is to be implemented so as to maximize your opportunity, right? Because first and
We lost you, Miss Porter.
Can you hear me?
No, we did. We can hear you now, but we lost you for a moment.
Okay, thank you for that. Interesting. Not sure what's going on. I might have to dial in because I don't want you guys losing me anymore. So I'm going to do that in the meantime because we are recording and I want for everybody to be able to hear me on the video. So let me know if it happens again. I'm just going to dial right into the line, okay? So Kermon, you can be the point person or whomever. Just let me know if that audio goes out. But back to what we were saying when we're talking about the open house that you guys are kind of marketing, if you will, with the My House Porter platform and even the Porterhouse style open house. At a minimum for your myhouseporter.com platform, the marketing strategies that we're talking about, these are they that should be implemented specifically for each one of these. So we talked about the Facebook and the Instagram ads. So with the targeted zip codes, if any of you have, started to play around with Facebook or with Instagram, or maybe you've had experience in the past, if you have, take yourself off mute, drop something in the chat, let us know. I know that we have a couple people on the line who are very, very savvy with Facebook. So if you've done this, let us know, because we talked about last week for your open house, you simply do an ad and you have a radius around your listing. You can do 5 miles, you can do 2 miles, you can do 10 miles, but you go onto Facebook and choose the area that you want your ad to be blasted to. So that can be a $20 ad, it can be a $10 ad, a $50 ad, whatever your budget is. And then those people within that targeted zip code or that targeted radius, those are the people that Facebook will then market to on your behalf, so that those people see open house, Anita Bowie's having an open house, it's the date, time, location, so forth and so on. So that is a very powerful tool and a way for us to maximize our social media platforms. Another aspect that we talked about was the Facebook events. So as soon as you know that you have an open house, you want to take about, it may take you about 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever amount of time it takes you to just wrap up all of these marketing strategies. It will be very well worth your time, because the amount of leads that you guys will be able to procure in marketing your open house the right way is going to help to propel and progress your business to the next level. Like we well know, only one buyer can get that property, right? You can't sell the property to 5, 10, 50 buyers at the same time, but you can produce, 50, 100 leads at the same time with the marketing that you guys can do for your open house. So everything that we're talking about, we want to make sure that you guys embrace it, take notes, go back and look at your videos, because we want to make sure that when you're doing your open houses, each one of these steps are followed, so that you're following the porterhouse process and you're getting the results that you will see when you do it this way. Okay. Your Facebook events. That's something most people are on Facebook. So in all of the demographics, very many people, if not most, are on Facebook in some capacity. So in marketing your open house on Facebook events, especially your My House Porter open house, it takes the reach of your open house beyond the platform in and of itself, and it maximizes that exposure to so many different people that are going to draw them into your listing. So for those of you, if you've done your myhouseporter.com, one of the differences versus the Matrix is that you can actually see how many people have viewed it. Whereas on the Matrix, you can see the people that are interested, if they've saved it or favorited it. It will allow for you to see how widely spread your marketing is and how effective you're being. Because when you see people start to register, okay, well, I'm doing a good job in blasting this and making sure that this gets out, because I see people actually starting to take notice. Okay. Those direct mail pieces, so the direct mail piece, and that's coupled with the open house invitation, because as you order your postcards, you can, like we talked about last week, you can have it be a combo as your open house invitation also, so that it's going out in the mail and everybody will know. And we talked about the QR code, and I have a couple in the office. If I had grabbed them before now, I'd be able to show them to you guys. But with your invitations, with your mailers, put your QR codes on there. And I love how Angela was saying she uses the QR code in multiple avenues. And I think that we should, because it's going to allow people on each one of these platforms to they'll see the information, they can scan the QR code, and it's all going to take them directly to your myhouseporter.com listing, right? And that's the goal, because when you're doing your myhouseporter.com listing, you want all of the exposure to be directed to the listing that you're trying to sell. So with that link, it's gonna take them directly to where you want them to go in the first place. So that can be posted on your, the flyer or whatever it is that you designed, or your marketing piece for the event, or the ad, the direct mail, or whatever that looks like. You want all of it to be directed to the same place. So we'll talk about some of the things that you want to make sure that you include in each one of your marketing pieces as well, but these are just some of them. Anita said it best, the door knocking with the invitations, how powerful that is. And because she did such a great job giving us some insight into what her experience was this weekend, I will simply allow that to be sufficient for number 4. Invite all the neighbors to join you before the open house for lunch or hors d'oeuvres or something like that. She said something very powerful. Even if they don't need to sell now, they will remember you. You've stuck out in their mind because you've done something different. And those neighbors are a powerful source for not only listings when they're able to sell, but a purchase and a sell, because when they're ready to sell, they're going to need to purchase another home also. And then referrals, because they know people who would like to move in their neighborhood. They have kids, they have nieces and nephews who need to purchase or need to sell. So when you connect with them in that way and help to create an experience that's going to be dynamic for them and unique from what other agents are doing, you're going to stick out and they'll remember you. HomeSnap Pro Ads, need I say more? We talked about that, and we talked about how when you add your listing to Bright MLS, you should always opt to allow HomeSnap Pro to market it for you, because they have multiple platforms and they do all of the work for us, and you set whatever your marketing budget is that you're comfortable with for any of those platforms, whether it be Google, Facebook, Waves, and the other opportunities that they have available for you guys. But the name of the game is to maximize the experience, maximize the exposure for your open house, so that everywhere that's anywhere will have your listing there, so that people can come out and submit an offer on it for you. Okay. We talked about scheduling a Facebook Live. So scheduling a time and including this information in your marketing, so that people will know. Some people will be within the vicinity and they'll be able to stop by the open house. But say by chance, there's some people that are nowhere near the area, but they're looking for real estate within that area. At a point, I want to say a couple of years ago, about 25% of the buyers in our area, they were foreign buyers. So what if you have somebody that's looking to purchase, but they can't make it to your open house? Doing your Facebook Live will help you to sell that listing and maximize the exposure, and for you to procure as many buyer and seller leads as possible, simply by scheduling that open house. And you determine what time is best, but you can give maybe a 15-minute, 20-minute tour, however big or small the house is, and maybe 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever that looks like. But you simply schedule a time to go live, and then you give that virtual tour to people who join you on that Facebook Live. And I'm sure you guys can unmute yourselves, drop it in the chat, or comment whenever you're ready. There are other platforms that you can go live on also. I believe Instagram has a live component to their platform. YouTube, I'm not sure. I don't know all the social media platforms in and out, but I know that some of you on the line are experts. So feel free, if you know any other platforms that allow for you to go live, you can add those to your marketing strategy also. Email marketing campaign. This one, Miss Pat Lancaster does an exceptional job with this. Anytime she has an open house, her email marketing campaign, that blast goes out. It goes out consistently. Everybody within her sphere of influence will know that she has an open house. Even when she has a new listing, they know that she has a just listed. If she has a just sold, maybe they'll know those things too. I'll take a pause for right now before I go to the last couple. Does anybody have any additional insight, comments, or questions about any of these that we've covered thus far?
So, Ms. Porter, when you have, okay, if you've just worked with a client to purchase a property, is that something you also market, and how and why?
So definitely, and that'll be a whole different training. So the answer to that question is yes. You want to market everything that you do as an agent. Because for you, you're showing your professionalism, you're showing your success, you're showcasing your clients and how productively you've been able to get through the transaction. And it's almost prophesying to an onlooker that you can help do the same thing for them. So when you market in additional platforms, some of these are going to be applicable to your sales, and some of them are, more beneficial for listings only. But in doing so, that is also a part of your lead generation aspect for the buyer side. So that's a different training, but that's a great question. So the answer to that is yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any thoughts or insight about any of these platforms that they'd like to add to the conversation? All right, we'll continue. Evites. Evites add a special touch, just not as effectively as the personal invitations, but almost as effectively. Because when you receive an Evite, you feel like, there's a party or something coming up, something festive, something that doesn't raise your stress level when you go to open it. Because you know how it is when we look at emails and things, you get so many things that are junk and so many things that are spam. Quite often it makes it to the trash can before you even look at it. But I don't know anybody that's just going to delete an Evite without opening it up and reading it thoroughly to see exactly who it is, what it's about and all of those things. And it helps you to make a connection with that person on a more personal level there. So your Evites, very, very effective as well. Eventbrite.com. Eventbrite, when you have an event, your open houses should always be posted on your eventbrite.com. So I want to say something for you guys, because the goal is going to be with your 21 day coming soon, that all of these things are happening in the very beginning so that you have that amount of time that your event is being marketed leading up to the date of the event itself. So these pieces are going out consistently. They're hitting all of these platforms. People are able to, look if they want to ask you a question. They have a QR code. They can look at the link. They can watch the listing. They can, do so many things to make sure that they are informed, and it also gives them time to schedule and prepare and be open and available during the date and the time of your open house. So that when your open house just comes up on Bright, it's not a surprise. We don't want people to say, oh my goodness, I just found out about this. I only saw it today, and sometimes you can't avoid that, but at all possible, you want to make sure that these marketing endeavors are done within that 21 day period as much as possible. If on day number 1 of that 21 day period, you spend that whole day or at least a few hours that day going through your marketing steps to make sure that you check these boxes, then it's going to really lend itself to a tremendously successful open house for you guys. And you're going to have a massive kind of response with regards to the number of leads that you'll be able to take on. Does anybody have any questions about that in advance? Well, in light of what I just shared. All right, then we'll continue. Mr. Porter, I want to, if you are available to unmute yourself, I want to have you to join in this next part of the conversation. So unmute yourself when you get a chance, and I'll go ahead and begin. One of the things that I'll share right offhand is when you guys get a new listing, you want to be sure that while you're scheduling your photography, you go out with your smartphone and you take some preliminary photos, right? And we can go over how to take the best photos with your smartphone, but you should have some very nice preliminary photos, at least of the front of the house. And if there are any great features that you can capture, even if it's 1 or 2, so your preliminary marketing and your pieces that are going out, you can at least show the front of the house, even if you haven't had your professional photography done just yet, so that does not hold you guys back from being able to market your listing like you need to. Okay, Mr. Porter, I see that you've unmuted yourself. I want to have you to join this next part of the conversation because it just keeps getting deeper for you guys.
Yes. So
Go ahead, Mr.
Mr.
Porter.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to share how powerful, open houses are. And we've been working on, our theme for the month, which is open house part 2. So we want to make sure we continue along this theme, because one of the things I want to remind us is in addition to passing to market the house and to try to get try to get a sale for the house. All of these other activities are just generating leads. And what is a lead? Let's just consider that. Lead. If you ask me what a lead is, it's a name and a telephone number of a human being that breathes and has a pulse. That person breathes and has a pulse. Everything then is up to me to start to groom that person. Okay, I'm saying somebody saying they can hardly hear me. Is that correct? Can you hear me, Jasmine?
It's
Your
very
audio
faint.
seems a little bit faint. Yeah.
Give me a second.
Okay. Not a problem. I'll just reiterate what I've heard you say thus far. Mr. Porter is talking about leads. Go ahead. It sounds like we have you back.
Wait a minute. Can you guys hear me
Okay.
now? Is that
Yes,
better?
that's much
Or
better.
worse?
That's perfect.
Great.
That's perfect.
Okay, great. So what I was going to say is that, when it comes to marketing for an open house, we want to get a sale for the house. But for me, another part of it, a really big part of it, is the amount of leads that can be generated just for me having an open house. An open house is just a big commercial for the house, but it's also for you as the agent to take advantage of the multiple opportunities that are going to walk through that door as a result of your effective efforts. So let's start with one of the things that I'm really excited about, especially in this season, especially since we have a very new opportunity at Porterhouse, and that's the aspect of recruiting. Whenever you have an open house, the likelihood is that another real estate agent is going to show up at your open house with their client. Well, that's a great thing for me because that agent is going to sign in on behalf of their clients. I don't have access to their clients, nor should I. But I do have access now to that real estate agent. And what I want to do is then begin to market to that real estate agent about Porterhouse. I want to recruit that agent. And we recruit. I'm going to keep saying that until I'm blue in the face. Why am I recruiting? Let me say, I said it 3 times. Recruit 1, because you're trying to build a team. Recruit number 2 is because of the residual bonuses that you're going to get from Porterhouse. And some of you have already started taking advantage of it and started reaping benefits. And it's wonderful. I'm excited about it. And number 3, you're recruiting because that's going to build for your retirement. So when agents walk into your open house, that's a great thing. Get their information. Begin to have conversations with them. Let them see how wonderful Porterhouse is. Your signs and all of those things that you're doing to get them to the open house is what drew them. And now that you have them, begin to talk to them about some of the benefits. Ask them about their company. People love to talk about their company. They love to brag. And then you can say, well, wow, we don't have E&O, and we get more than 40% or 50% or 60%. In fact, we only have 2 models at our agency. And you know what? I want to talk to you a little bit later. How about once we finish this open house, I give you a call next week, or we go out and have lunch or have coffee or something, or get a Jamba Juice or whatever you do. But do not negate the fact that when people bring their their clients to your house that are licensed real estate agents, this is an opportunity for you to get their name and their telephone number. And for me, again, a lead is nothing more than a person's name, telephone number, email address of a human being that's breathing. If they're breathing, that's a lead for me. I need their information. I'm going to send them mine. I say, hey, let me give you my information. And then when they give me that phone number, they're going in my contacts. You don't have to ask for people's information. Give them yours. How you gonna give it to them? Get on your phone. You can hand them a business card, but say, hey, let me send you my contact. Let me send you my e-card. And as soon as you do that, they're gonna have to give you their telephone number. And once you get the telephone, say, hey, let me get your email just so I can have a complete contact. Get all the information that you can, but recruiting is crucial. You have agents walking through the door. If they're impressed by what you're doing, impressed by how you did it, and they've never done open. A lot of agents have never done open houses. This is an opportunity for you to recruit so that you can train them, so that you can retain them, and that you can build a business from other people's effective effort. And the great thing about those people that's showing up, they have clients. They have a book of business. They're actually doing some real work in real estate. So those are the people that you want to recruit to be part of your team at Porterhouse International. The other thing is, you guys have been talking about inviting the neighbors. We want to get rid of that stigma of the nosy neighbor. We want people to come. We want to invite the neighbor. And when we invite the neighbor, on your sign-in sheet, you should have somewhere where they tell, hey, if you were invited by Porterhouse, or you're visiting from the neighborhood, give me your name and address, and I'm gonna send you something for free. They're gonna sign that thing right away. They want to know what the something is for free. You know what? I'm gonna send them a free CMA. I'm gonna send them a free competitive market analysis that tells them how much their home is worth, and then I'm gonna invite them to get on my campaign drips, and I'm gonna start marketing to them about what their houses are selling for and the other homes that they could get once they move out of their house. And I'm going to say, hey, by the way, do you know what you could be pre-approved for right now, even though you own a house? Not saying you want to sell, but how about we just see how much you would qualify for if you decided to move? Sometimes when people find out how much they are pre-approved for ahead of time, even though they're not even thinking about selling, now they want to go start looking at houses. Well, if you do that, and you pull that off, now you got a person that's already buying. What they gonna do with their house? Let you sell it? We have to take advantage. We got to think about these things. Take advantage of these opportunities. Those neighbors have homes. I want them to think about the other home that they want to get. Or I want to invite them into an investment meeting. And if you don't have an investment meeting, just put one together. I got some people that will come and we can talk about investing. So you have your home, let's get an investment home. What are your real estate goals? Well, I'm not thinking about selling. I'm not saying anything about selling, but do you know how much your house is worth? Do you know what you could qualify for if you did decide to buy right now? If I own a $500,000 house and you tell me I can get approved for a $750,000 loan, I'm going to start thinking, maybe I want to move up. Maybe I want to move out. Maybe I want to take advantage of that. I don't have to use all of that $750,000, but I can sell my house, get some money. Now you got my brain working. Even if you never get a call, they thinking about what you had a conversation about. And now, because you stimulated that conversation in their mind, you're the expert that they need to talk to. They want to do it the way they're saying it done because you stimulated their conversation. And then you want to make sure that you put that person in the campaign drip. And you want to follow up with them every 3 to 6 months. They got their name, you got their telephone number, send them a mail and send them a postcard. Let them know how you're doing in their community. Hey, your other neighbor just sold their house. Hey, your other neighbor just sold. Now what are you thinking? I might need to move. Maybe I need to take advantage of that pre-approval. How long is that pre-approval good for? I had a person call me the other day and say, how long is that pre-approval good for? I said, well, I don't know. You need to lock in your interest rate, and we want to make sure that we talk to you. I need some 10 commandments if you're really thinking about moving. Well, how much did you say my house is worth? Yeah, I remember you sent me that market analysis. Can you send me an updated one? Because I see 2 or 3 of my other neighbors have sold their homes, and I know that that's going to affect my property value. How much is my house worth now? You want to just generate the mindset for the people that are coming, the recruiting of the agents first. Let's remember that. You want to generate the mindset that, hey, you're doing great in real estate, but you might be doing better. Did your organization have a program that allows you to recruit people and then to get residual bonuses forever? And then if something happened to you, that you have a beneficiary opportunity? Does your organization have an opportunity and a way for you to be able to list properties anywhere in the country? And you can do it for 0%. You want to say that to the recruits, then to the people who are coming that you've invited from the neighborhood? Wouldn't you like for me to sell your house and have this type of response and invite people out and get people looking? And if they say no, well, okay, fine. I have another way I can do it, and I only do a one-day open house. And I won't even put a lock box. You have multiple opportunities to recruit people and to get listings just from inviting people in the neighborhood who aren't thinking about selling, but you're going to get them to think about selling by getting them to think about buying. They start thinking about buying, they don't want to carry 2 mortgages. Nobody wants to do that. Okay? They want to sell. They're going to have to sell because now you got me thinking about buying. Don't focus on, I want to get your listing. Get them to think about buying. See if they can be pre-approved and send them the competitive marketing analysis just as a free gift so you can open up the conversation. Right? And last but certainly not least, you're going to have people that's driving up and walking up that are potential buyers that you need to immediately get their information, put them into a boomtown campaign so that they can start seeing if they're ready to buy. Well, I rent right now. Well, how much do you pay for rent? Well, do you know that there are buyers that have purchased homes that don't pay that much for homes that they own? And how much are you getting from renting every year? How much are you getting back in tax time? I'm not getting anything. I need to talk to you about how mortgages work. You will love it. Everybody wants to figure out how to make a little extra money in this world, especially in this country, especially now. You can talk to people about how to do that. And you can say, hey, guess what? You need to put in now because interest rates are climbing. Many people took advantage of the wonderful low interest rates that we've had for the last 5 to 7 years, maybe more. Well, now they're trying to fix the economy, so they're going to fluctuate the interest rate because there's just too many dollars out there. They're going to start collecting them back. And they're going to do that through raising interest rates and raising prices of goods and all of those things. So before that happens in a way that's going to make a house that you could get now unattainable to you 3 months from now, you need to get in while interest rates are low. You want to have buyers. You want to get enough buyers that you can generate, not only that you can put them in the Boomtown campaign and put them under a nurture, see if you can get Mike Cooper to pre-approve them, but you might want to get enough people that you can then pull in and have a buyer seminar and then get them to invite other people to the home buyer seminar. And this is all from people that's coming to your open house. You have multiple. If you have 5 people and they're coming from 5 different aspects, then you have to figure out what can I do with this aspect, and you got to be prepared. Because here's the thing. Here's where we make a mistake, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. You know, y'all can call me Soapbox Porter. Here's the thing. When we get the opportunity to do an open house, we get so excited about planning and doing an open house and then getting people in that the follow-up and the follow-through is not the most important thing on our mind, and that's the biggest mistake you're going to make ever in anything that you ever do. If you do a home buying seminar, it's great. You got the food, you got the people, everything. Everybody came out, the balloons and everything. But what did you do with all the leads? Nothing. They just came and you're hoping, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, hoping that they're going to, one day call you. It ain't going to happen. Those people need to be communicated with constantly. You need to be a bug in their ear, a fly, a gnat. They need to swat at you. Let them swat at you. If they tell you to go away, then you go away. But once I got you, you're going to be in the web. I'm going to keep on working on you. I'm going to keep on buzzing at you. Don't let your leads go to waste, guys. If you get those people through the door, that is a wonderful thing. Grab that information, use it, synthesize and analyze it, dissect it, work it to the last nerve. Till they call you and say, take me off of your campaign. Please add me to the do not call list. Please add me to the unsubscribe list. And when I get those people, I say, man, I must be doing a great job with marketing because I got 2 or 3 people that told me to unsubscribe them. That's really good. You know what that means? That means you've done everything that you possibly could do and they're just not interested. If you're not getting those kind of calls, you're not doing anything. You're not working your business. You got to work your business until they say no. When they say no, then you let them go. But I want to work with, because I get some yeses as well as some no's. I'm not afraid of the no's. So what I'm saying to you is take those people that come to the open house, analyze what kind of person they are. Are they an agent? They might be an agent that needs the help to buy a home. They might be scared to buy their own home. And many of our agents that come through Porterhouse door, many of you sit down with me for 5 minutes and say, do you own your own home? I'm going to ask you that. I want you to do the same thing to other agents. Do you own your own home? You out here selling homes? Do you own a house? Well, let's get you pre-approved. Some agents are afraid to go get a pre-approval. So everybody who walks through the door at the open house, get the correct information from them. You need a name. You need a telephone number. You need to know how they heard about your open house. That tells you if they're an agent, if they're a person that was just walking by, driving by, and it's a potential buyer, or if they were invited, or they live in a neighborhood. You need to know how they got sourced. So then that tells you how you need to approach them and what conversations you need to start with them. And then if they came to your open house, guys, how about the next week you go around and you make sure you go knock on their door and say, hey, did you get this free CMA I sent you? I wanted to see if you had any questions. I wanted to see what you thought about it. They might say the value is too low, the value is too low. It's really great. I didn't know my house was worth that much. You say, hey, would you mind if I take a tour? Mike can find some things that I didn't know about your home that wasn't on the MLS or that wasn't evident. Oh, you had 5 bedrooms. When did you get that bedroom? Oh, we added it on. Oh, well, that's going to change the value. I'm glad you showed me this. I'll update the CMA. We really should talk. If you think about it, it's all of these things that need to happen are the follow-up things. You got to get to the open house, but then you got to come out of it and do more work. The open house is not the work. The open house is the TV commercial. The work comes when the phone starts ringing or when you need to follow up with the people that expressed interest. Until they say no, guys. Until they say no. That's how you're going to build a successful business. It's not personal. You're not trying to be personal. You're not trying to harass people, but it's business. Part of business is getting busy, getting people business, and getting people into your business. So those are the things I was going to share, Jasmine. I'm off my soapbox because I know I'm gonna keep going. And listen, guys, I want you all to get busy with this, with all of the information. Anybody who's walking and breathing and has a pulse. I love going to Starbucks and I love talking to people behind the counters at Starbucks because none of them believe that they can be home buyers. And I get a lot of home buyers from Starbucks. And most people don't think people in Starbucks can afford a house. You would be 100% wrong. Stop judging people. Stop thinking, stop self-sabotaging your business. Don't overanalyze anything. A guy who's a dog walker, if he's a dog walker, he got a job, he's an independent, I might give him a no-doc loan. I'm not that loan guy. That's Mike Cooper's business. I'm going to say, hey, Mike, this guy walks dogs for a living. What can you do for him? Let's see. Let's see what he has. Let's see how much he makes. Let's see what he does. Oh, this guy's, I got a pre-approval for him right now. A dog walker? Yeah. Don't self-sabotage. Don't think too much about what you think could be approved or not approved. Invite people, get their information, figure out where they need to go, what kind of category you need to put them in, and work that thing and let the technology work for you. And then not just the technology, follow up just to add a personal touch, a phone call, a door knock, a visit, a check-in. a birthday wish, anything that makes it personal. So that then you can have a conversation with people. That's all I got to say. I'm going to get off the soapbox. Thank y'all for indulging me.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Porter. Wow. That was excellent insight. Thank you so much for that. I did my best to drop everything in the chat that Mr. Porter was saying. Hopefully that was on the screen for you guys so that you could see it. You heard him say it. You can see it. You can go back and watch it again so that you let it germinate and grow up into some very fruitful opportunities for you. So again, very, very well said. One thing that a couple things that I'll add to what Mr. Porter is saying in creating that opportunity for people after those neighbors have come out and you invited them, just like Anita was saying, you can get the invitations from the dollar store. You can also get thank you cards from the dollar store. So grab you a pack of thank you cards as well. And when those neighbors that you've invited actually come out to your open house, take those thank you cards, go back around, door knock, and deliver them. Or if you want to drop them in the mail, you can drop them in the mail. But the point of the matter is to make a connection, and you're creating a porterhouse experience for them that's going to be very different from what they're going to be receiving elsewhere. So you want to make that connection. You want to just nurture that lead. And I love how Mr. Porter put it, that every human that has a pulse is a lead. I love that. That is so different than what the industry teaches. The industry teaches that anybody who's looking to buy or sell is a lead, but that is so insightful for Mr. Porter to share that any human being that's breathing is a lead, because when you consider it from the perspective that as people, we all have to have somewhere to live at some point or another, whether we need to purchase, rent, sell, or whatever the case is, at some point in our lives, we have to have a place to live, well, for our whole life, but we're going to be looking to probably purchase on our own at some point. Then that kind of highlights all of the opportunities that are around us in abundance, because everybody either needs to own a home, owns a home, needs to rent, knows somebody that needs to rent, has a son, a daughter, a brother, a father, a sister, whomever that needs to become a homeowner or has a home that they need to sell or would like to get into real estate. They're a recruiting opportunity for you to build your pipeline for your residual income, or they need to expand their real estate portfolio or start a real estate portfolio so that they can continue to further build generational wealth for their family. So when you consider it from that perspective, then every single person that you come in contact with, they're truly a lead. That's a dynamic perspective. So just embrace that, guys. My hope is that it'll be encouragement for you guys to talk to everybody that you come in contact with, because whether they need your services now or not, they'll potentially be a source of future business for you, even if not today. But it happens when you plant the seed, and it doesn't happen if you don't plant the seed, okay? So everything that we're talking about maximizing these opportunities, because Mr. Porter can tell you before he even, before we started Porterhouse, when we were Porter Home Team, and when we used to do open houses every weekend, and when Mr. Porter used to be at one open house and I would be at the other open house, and depending on our marketing, we may have 30, 50 buyers to come through, or 20 buyers to come through, whatever the case is. We're telling you strategies that really, really work. And when you embrace these strategies and you commit the time necessary to do these things, you guys are going to have so many leads that you'll have to spend the next week following up with everybody. And it will really take your real estate business to the next level. So I pray that you guys will embrace everything that we're teaching you guys, so that you can get your 22 in 2022, and you will take your real estate business to the next level. I would be remiss if I did not share with you guys another opportunity that you have, because as Porterhouse family members, whether you have your own listing or not, you can always reach out to one of your colleagues who has a listing. Reach out to them personally, reach out to them, call, text, email, WhatsApp, or whatever the case is, to say, hey, I don't have my own personal listing, but is there anybody that has a listing that I can do an open house at on this coming weekend? Reach out to your colleagues. Do you know how much of a tremendous benefit it is? It's mutually beneficial all the way around the board. If you do your own open house, or if you do an open house with your colleague or for your colleague, it benefits every person tremendously. The client will see a tremendous team that's working together. Maybe your colleague wasn't available to do an open house that week, or maybe they didn't plan to do one that week, but now there's continued servicing going on to the client that's going to cause you guys to get further referrals. And then you have tremendous opportunities that you're going to be just building from all of the marketing endeavors that you do. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you guys in the event that you say, well, I don't have a current listing, but I would like to do an open house. Always reach out and find out whose listing you can do an open house with, on, or, you know, together as a group or whatever that looks like. But partner in these marketing endeavors. We've said it before and I'll say it again. You should always have multiple people at your open house with you. Okay, so a minimum of you and one other person. If you want to have, 3, 4 people, great. If you want to have 5 people, great. You all can have different roles there. Somebody can be doing the Facebook Live. Somebody can be, tending to people upstairs. The other one can be tending to people downstairs. Somebody can be getting people signed in on your job forms, or what was that link that you shared last week, Anita, or the week before last? I think you said would you say?
Open
It
House
is
Pro,
called,
no, it is called Open House.
Open House. What is it? Was it Open House something else?
Okay, I apologize. Yes, it is Open House something else. Let me see. I have the app on my phone right here.
Okay.
Open House Pro. Yes, that's what it's called.
You got it. Open House Pro. So those are a couple of, and there are a number of different, virtual opportunities to collect that information. So you're doing it electronically. If you like to, do your list that's your hard copy, by all means, continue with your hard copy, but there's so many opportunities for you guys to collect this information electronically as well that will automatically store it for you. I know JotForms does. JotForm is going to take it from you standing, at the door, and you can just hand either an iPad or a cell phone to somebody and allow them to just, plug their information in. JotForm is going to send it to a spreadsheet for you, so that at the end, you're going to have all of that information there so that you can then put it into your Boomtown campaigns and Constant Contact. So we're going to end there for today. I just wanted to mention that you guys have opportunities in abundance, and we want to encourage you guys to maximize every opportunity that you have, because it will take your real estate business to the next level. So that is all I have for today. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, key takeaways, you can go ahead and share them. But before we do, I know that we're at time, so I honor you guys. I know we have some dual career agents among us. If you guys have got to go, then we'll go ahead and release you. If anybody else has any last minute thoughts, questions, key takeaways, then you can go ahead and have the floor.
Once we end the recording, I have something to say.
Let's go ahead and end it.
Okay.